Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So this episode is a bit inspired by what I'm currently seeing right now in Costa Rica. As I'm recording this, it's September 2024, and this is part of what's called the low season where we live. And a lot of tourists aren't here this time of year. A lot of people don't migrate to Central America in the summer because the North Americans who typically come down will come down in the winter, naturally because of the weather. So there's a bit of a slow season in the summer and early fall time frame. In fact, a lot of businesses around here will close for the entire month of October or something around that to do renovations or to let the staff take a break leading up to the high season. And what we love to do, especially if we're here this time of year, which is beautiful, by the way, we love to become patrons of the local businesses that are maybe struggling a little bit more or don't have as much business right now. And we become friends with a lot of the folks who own, manage, and work at all of these different businesses locally. And we had this conversation actually with some staff that worked at one of the restaurants that we frequent. And I wanted to pass this on to you because it was a really good conversation. And we were talking about how a lot of people are not friendly to small businesses. But it's not to say that they are rude or they are, difficult or anything like that. But people aren't really going to that extra level of consciousness of what it takes to be a small business owner. And it's really hard to relate to small business owners unless you've been one or are one. And if you're listening to this, you're likely a small business owner. And sometimes we need reminding of a couple of things. One is how to ask for better customers and how to be a better customer. So, with this, I want to share three things that you can do to be a better supporter of small businesses. I want you to think about this because, first of all, it's kind of like social media. You can put out the best content in the world, but unless you're engaging and you're starting conversations and you're commenting and supporting other people, you're only going to aggregate so many different follows or any type of phone worship. Similar with business, you have to also develop relationships. You have to also go out there and become a patron of these other businesses and partner with people and collaborate and be part of a business community. So, here are some ways that you can better support other small businesses, but also ways that you can ask for support if you are a small business owner. Now, number one is help them get new customers. And here are the ways that I do that that seem to go a long way. So if we have a particularly good meal, or I have a great experience at a store and I can tell that I'm dealing with the shop owner or it's a new store or a new business, or I'm just overall pleased with the level of customer service I've received, I always ask, hey, what is the best way to recognize you or give you a review? Because first of all, if you go on your preferred platform like Google or Facebook or Yelp or something, they may not see it. They may, the patrons of that type of place may not go to those types of resources. So, what you want to do is ask them where they want the review. This does a couple of things. One is if they've received for any reason a low review, a poor rating from maybe a difficult customer, maybe a very valid bad review because of a goof up they had, whatever it may be. Now, if they've received bad reviews somewhere, a good review goes a long way to counter that. So they may specifically want you to go to a certain platform and actually help them with that. So that would be a great way to ask them. The other thing is to ask their name if you had a great experience so that you can call them out by name in that review, or you can call them out by name if you were to send an email to their manager, send a message, a WhatsApp, a text, whatever, to their manager or to the owner to say you've had a great experience with that person. Whatever way that they indicate is the best way to recognize them, follow that and listen. And then also, if you had a particularly good experience with an employee and you'd like to recognize them personally, I always ask, hey, what's the best way to get in touch with your manager slash owner to let them know you did a good job? Because a lot of it goes unnoticed and a lot of it goes unrecognized. And when a customer says something nice, it just goes above and beyond. So if you have those good experiences, always ask. The other thing is ask what types of customers they want. Ask who's your ideal customer? What types of customers do you want here? Sometimes I'll say literally anybody. I'm thinking about the restaurants we frequent. And like, they just want to fill the tables, and maybe it's just bringing friends next time or hosting an event there or hosting a big meetup there. That might be one way that you can support them and to get creative. You know, this came to me also today. I went to the market in town and I spoke to a woman who was selling freeze-dried fruit. Now, it's delicious, by the way. It's when you go to Starbucks, you get those refreshers and they pour like the strawberry acai or the mango dragon fruit, and they have the freeze-dried fruit that's in there that plumps up and hydrates when it's in the drink. That's what this is. And it's really good because a lot of fruit goes badly really quickly down here in Costa Rica. And it's hard to get strawberries and it's hard to get certain fruits. So she has a ton of this on stock and she comes to the Sunday market and we pick up a couple bags every time. And I actually thought of this where I went to the bar manager who I know, and I was talking to her and I gave her a couple pieces of it. And I said, "You got to try this. It's the woman over there who's selling in the market." And and the market is hosted at the restaurant, by the way. And we went over, and it turns out the whole staff, they were like, "This is delicious." The whole staff, they had no customers at the time, walked with me over to her stand and they were all trying it. And they were all saying, "This would be good in cocktails. We should put this on the menu. We should talk about this." And the idea started really percolating that maybe we could actually support each other. Because not only is the market hosted at this restaurant, but now the staff are actually going and trying the product and saying, "Hey, this is actually really good." So part of it was understanding that when I was buying from this woman at the stand, that I was asking her, "Hey, you're trying to sell this? Like, who are you trying to sell to? And would it be helpful if you sold this to restaurants? Because I know this would be great in cocktails." And I dropped the idea to the bar manager. She came right over. So you have to get a little creative sometimes. Think about this stuff, right? Think about where are the opportunities for these people and asking them what their goals are with their businesses, right? This is such a great way to strike up conversation. I walk around the market all the time and say, are you local to here? You know, how do you make money? How do you work? Is this your primary thing or a hobby? And I learned so much about these people and their businesses. And it's so fun because even though it's not some giant, robust, like 7-figure, 8-figure business, it's really fun to talk to artisans and talk to craftspeople and farmers and hear more of their stories.
Hey, it's Shannon, and I wanted to remind you that the love language of podcasters is reviews. If you wouldn't mind taking a couple of seconds just to leave us a review if you're enjoying this show, we would really, really appreciate it. Okay, back to the show.
The other thing I want to say with supporting small businesses is to have a ton of empathy when you encounter delays or hiccups. And this is so important. I think it also gets you more of what you want in the long run. The example that comes to mind, and I know this is not necessarily a small business, but the most prominent example I have is with how much Jason and I travel, we encounter gate agents all the time at the airport. And one of the things I notice is how they handle situations like delays and when a flight is canceled. I've been on flights that had to get deplaned after we already boarded because the flight crew timed out. You know, it's easy to, as a passenger, easy to get frustrated. And rightfully so, right? I'm not saying that you don't deserve to be frustrated. What I am saying is if you do something like this, like we walk up to the gate agent and I always say to the gate agent, "Hey, I'm not going to be a pain in the ass. It's okay. Breathe." I always have a happy demeanor and I always know they're doing their best. I also know that if I can bring a little bit of positivity among all this negativity and talk to them like a human, talk to them like a professional, and know that they are going to partner with me to find a solution to this because it's in their best interest and mine to get me on a plane. And that is what they truly want to do. They don't want to be difficult. Then, if you approach a situation like that with any small business and go, they are trying to help you, they are trying to make you happy. And if they fall short and they're not able to do that, there's no reason to get upset or mad. In the grand perspective of things, like it's okay. And definitely, I say think twice before leaving a review and leaving an imprint on that. And maybe cool off, wait a minute, wait a hot minute, and like let yourself just come down off that peak of emotion and just realize that maybe Okay, they had the best intentions, something went awry, a process broke down somewhere. It's okay. It's totally okay. And don't get so demanding. I think it used to be fair. You have to be 100% fair. So have empathy and be fair when things don't go your way. And then finally, don't expect loyalty or special treatment until you have earned it. So, one thing that drives me nuts as a business owner is if somebody, actually, as a business owner, and not that my clients do this, but my observation in the wild, right, of business ownership, when I am a customer somewhere and I witness this behavior, it drives me nuts, which is the entitlement of, you know, ordering off a special menu at a restaurant that's reserved for frequent guests, or asking, hey, what's that? If it's like a freebie somebody got, or, trying to get free coupons, trying to get free discounts, trying to ask and haggle for things. And to some extent, I say, okay, like, what have you done to earn that though, to earn a lower price or earn that flexibility? I seldom haggle with businesses. It's just my nature, but it would most likely happen if I was buying a lot of something from somebody or I was a frequent patron of that person. So, for example, if I go buy a product from someone, say it's food, and I say, "Hey, I want to buy this in bulk from you. Is there a way that I can save you money on packaging and we could just do this in bulk?" And I could bring my own container, or like, how can I save you money and save you time so that you're able to accommodate a lower price point for me? That is doable. And I'd say most people who sell products, especially consumables, are very flexible to do that type of stuff. But I think you have to come to the table understanding that they can only do that if you are able to save them money. But you are not entitled to them doing what you want at your whim unless it makes business sense for them. And if something doesn't make business sense for them and it's something that you want, understand that you may not get your way. And you have to be okay with that. So I think that we've all been great customers at one point in time. I think we've all been not so great customers at one point in time, including myself. But as I witness more interactions in business, especially down here, I'm picking up on these little things to say, hey, there are a few things that we can do every single day to just have better behavior as a business owner. So if you take nothing else away from this episode, let's go back to helping people get more customers. Let's go back to reviews. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to either set a reminder, if you have Asana, this is a great way to do it, or set a reminder every Friday, that every Friday you're going to go through, whether it's Google Face, you're going to go through Google Maps even, and go through your neighborhood, go through places you frequent, and just start leaving reviews. Think about that Chinese restaurant you always get takeout from, or that bar you go to on Thursday nights, or that place that your friends took you to that one time that was really fun. Think about these places that you may go out to and pick one and just decide you're going to go write them a nice review. It will make their day, it will make their week, and it will only take you about 30 seconds. And do your best to go above and beyond. Great experience, nice food, nice atmosphere, friendly staff. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's try to think of some names, or let's try to really give examples of a specific story, event, or something that happened, or the timing of when you went and something that specifically impressed you. I think that will really go a long way. So if you can, take those 30 seconds, leave a review of a business that you've enjoyed in the past few weeks. Make this a habit. I think you'll enjoy spreading more joy. And speaking of which, I would be remiss if I didn't say, if you're enjoying this podcast, please do us the same favor. Leave us a review on any podcast platform you're currently listening on. We particularly pay attention to Apple, but if you are listening on Spotify or Amazon or anything else, please feel free to leave a review there as well. All right. I'll see you on the next episode.
Finding the right support that you need for your business can be so confusing when it comes to accounting and tax. Sometimes it seems like you can't find a CPA or a tax pro who actually understands your business, or they charge way too much for what you actually need. I've seen this for so many entrepreneurs. They are in a bad relationship with their accountant because they don't know what to look for. It is not your fault. So I created a perfect guide for you that is totally free. It's called the Money Pro Matchmaker, and it will teach you what your pro should be doing, questions you can use to interview them to find the right person for you, and a guide to evaluate them so you know you're getting what you pay for. Do not get stuck or screwed with the wrong accountant. Download the guide now at moneypromatchmaker.com. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.